Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to explore the bustling, microscopic metropolis that makes up literally every living thing on Earth. We're focusing on the parts and functions of cells. And honestly, understanding this incredible inner machinery is absolutely crucial because this invisible world dictates our health, our energy, and our very survival. So let's take a journey inward, scaling all the way down past the limits of human vision. So to kick things off, what is the absolute simplest collection of matter that can actually live? To answer this, we have to dive into the very foundation of life itself, the cell. You have trillions of them making up your body right now, but a cell isn't just some basic dumb building block like a simple brick in a wall. No, it's a highly complex, self-sustaining unit. It is, quite literally, the simplest collection of matter that can be considered alive, breathing, and functioning. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, revealing the microscopic world, followed by boundaries and cell size. Then, prokaryotes versus eukaryotes, genetic control and manufacturing, energy processing, and finally, structure and communication. Let's get into it. Section 1. Revealing the microscopic world, how we see the invisible. It's honestly so fascinating to trace this history. Way back in 1665, Robert Hooke first observed cells. Fast forward to the 1800s, and scientists established cell theory, realizing that all living things are composed of these units. But the real game changer, that came in the 1950s. The invention of powerful electron microscopes, which use a beam of electrons instead of light, finally allowed scientists to resolve biological structures as incredibly small as 2 nanometers. To put that into perspective, that's magnifying them up to 100,000 times. And modern imaging brilliantly illustrates the sheer complexity hidden inside a single animal cell. It is just packed with specialized working parts. When you see how dense and structured it is, it's amazing. You've got the nucleus acting as a control center, the mitochondria pumping out energy, and a jelly-like cytoplasm holding the whole shebang together. It really is a fully functioning microsociety. Moving on to Section 2, Boundaries and Cell Size, the Rules of the Micrometropolis. Now, you might be wondering, why are cells always so tiny? Well, the crucial point is that cells must remain small to maintain a high surface-to-volume ratio. Think of it like this. If you break one large unit into 27 smaller ones, the total volume stays exactly the same, but you literally triple the surface area. This is super important because it allows for adequate exchange of materials across the flexible plasma membrane. If a cell gets too big, its outer surface simply cannot keep up with the demands of its massive internal volume. Section 3. Prokaryotes versus eukaryotes, two worlds of cells. Life is essentially split into two fundamental types of these cellular cities. The simpler ones, the prokaryotes, like bacteria, lack true organelles. Their DNA is just kind of coiled up into a region called the nucleoid, without a protective membrane around it. Meanwhile, eukaryotes, which make up plants, animals, and, well, us, are highly partitioned complex cities. They feature a membrane-bound nucleus and numerous internal structures called organelles that perform the specific, vital jobs that keep us alive. Which brings us to Section 4, Genetic Control and Manufacturing, the City Centers. Think of the eukaryotic nucleus as the ultimate management control center. It safely houses your DNA and is responsible for genetic control, DNA replication, and synthesizing RNA. Meanwhile, out on the factory floor, you have ribosomes acting as the assembly workers. They take those exact instructions from the nucleus and build polypeptides, or proteins. And these proteins are the fundamental structural blocks and tools running your entire body. Moving deeper into this factory, the endomembrane system takes over. You have the rough ER, which gets its name because it's studded with ribosomes, acting as the manufacturing floor for membranes and secretory proteins. Then there's the smooth ER. It processes lipids and breaks down harmful substances. Actually, your liver cells are absolutely packed with smooth ER, specifically to detoxify things like alcohol. Finally, the Golgi apparatus functions as the ultimate finishing factory and molecular warehouse, modifying, sorting, and shipping products exactly where they need to go. Section 5. Energy Processing Powerhouses, Powering the Cell. A city obviously cannot run without power. And when you look at an animal cell and a plant cell side by side, their differing infrastructures really stand out, especially in how they get that power. While they do share similarities, like having a nucleus and a Golgi apparatus, their boundaries and power plants are different. Plants feature rigid cell walls and those prominent green chloroplasts, which gives them a completely distinct infrastructure compared to the softer, much more flexible animal cell. Mitochondria are your ultimate power plants. They harvest chemical energy from the food you eat and convert it into ATP. That is the literal fuel keeping you alive and allowing you to breathe right at the second. Chloroplasts, on the other hand, are unique to plants and some protists. They perform the sheer magic of photosynthesis, converting raw light energy straight into the chemical energy of sugars. Section 6, Structure, Movement, and Communication, the Infrastructure. So, what holds this all together? The cytoskeleton provides a network of protein fibers, specifically microfilaments and microtubules, for structural support and movement. It acts very much like the roads and steel beams of our microscopic city. Then, cell junctions step in as the communication wires and physical bonds between neighboring cells, ensuring they can work together as a tissue. And, like we mentioned, in plants, cell walls provide that rigid extra layer of support and protection. Okay, this next part is absolutely mind-blowing. It's about how our cellular power plants actually originated. The theory of endosymbiosis suggests that, millions of years ago, mitochondria and chloroplasts were completely independent, free-living, prokaryotic bacteria. At some point, they were swallowed up by larger host cells. But instead of being digested, they struck a deal, setting up a permanent, mutually beneficial residence inside the host. If the very engines of our cells were once independent creatures, what does that incredible history say about the collaborative nature of life on Earth? Just think about it. Every single time you move a muscle or have a thought, you are relying on the ancient energy of what used to be independent organisms, now working tirelessly in the microscopic metropolis of your cells. It is a profound reminder of how deeply interconnected all life truly is. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.